Välkommen till programmet Tro Under som vi sänder från Mediemission International ännu en fredagkväll. Det har ju varit sommarmånader och hösten har kommit och vi märker det på utsidan att det blir mörkare på kvällarna. Men du vet att hos Gud så finns det alltid ljus och det är kraft i honom. Mediemission International är ett effektivt missionsarbete som har funnits över 40 år. Och tillsammans med er som lyssnar och era vänner så har vi fått se fantastiska saker bara det här året 2017. Vi har gjort satsningar i olika världsdelar och vi vill att ni ska veta i Sverige att ni är en del av vår familj, missionsfamilj. Mediemission skulle aldrig klara av att göra det vi gör utan att ni finns vid vår sida. Era förböner, ett engagemang och den responsen vi får och den har tagit våra hjärtan. Vi har gjort mycket i Ryssland och vi kommer att tala mer om det längre fram också. Så vi vill ifrån Mediemission, från vårt hjärta, berätta för dig att vi älskar dig, vi bryr oss om dig. Och vi skulle egentligen vilja ge er alla en enda stor kram, så mycket betyder ni för oss. Ikväll i det här programmet så ska vi prata om någonting mycket fantastiskt, någonting som ligger på vårt hjärta och det är Ryssland bland annat. Och i studion så har vi Hanna Hauka. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Morgan.
For more than 40 years God started the mission work through you and your wife Laura.
Yeah, 40 år, det är ett lång tid.
It's a long time, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And we have seen during this year, 2017, that God has opened up new doors.
Yes.
And as I said to viewers, we are so thankful for all people in Sweden who's supporting us in prayer and financially.
Yeah.
So we have talked about Russia many times.
Yes.
But now we have some much going on in the pipelines, behind the scenes.
Yes.
God is open up tremendous nations and cities.
Yes.
And you were in a new country for us.
Yeah. We were in Suleimania in northern Iraq. There's a lot of things to say about Suleimania, and I think that in the next program probably you want to talk about that.
Yeah, more. Yeah.
But we've also been in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam. Great news from there. We have news from Cuba, which was also devastated by the hurricane Irma. But I will get back to that. We also have news from Kolkata, India, which is our 5th mega city in India, where we will be doing a massive media campaign very soon. But we also have news from Russia. And so I think we should maybe say a few things about Russia. You know, I just came back from Crimea, which is under Russian occupation at this moment.
Yeah.
I came back from there. I was invited to Crimea by the Pentecostal Bishop, Edward Grabovenko. He is the overseer for about 2,000, no more than that actually, almost 3,000 churches right now across Russia. Small churches, big churches. Yeah. Anyway, he invited me to come to a youth camp in Crimea. 2,000 young people from across Russia came to the youth camp. On the first day of the youth camp, anti-terrorist special forces units came to the youth camp. Masks, terrorist masks, and guns to check, to see what was going on. It was an act of, I would say, in a sense, aggression. It was, they tried to plant fear in the young people by coming to this Christian youth camp with anti-terrorist equipment and masks and everything else. These were not terrorists. These are young people, teenagers. Yeah. They came to worship the Lord, to sing praises to the Lord, to pray together, to fellowship together. Yeah. They were not terrorists. And then in the following 10 days, the youth camp, of course, it was a 10-day festival. The authorities came 18 times, and every time they came, they wrote out fines, penalties. And at the end of the day, which means the end of the conference, youth camp, they had to pay $30,000 US dollars, 25,000 euros in fines.
25,000 euros, that's about 250,000 crowns.
Yeah, just for having the youth camp there in Crimea this summer in the month of
And they didn't know that before they started the camp, that it just happened.
No, they had consulted the authorities. They had negotiated with them. They had gone through all the procedures. They had received the permission. And then, surprise, surprise, First day, pow, came the special forces, the army units or the special police, and then after that came the people that said you need to pay us 25,000 euros for this event. So that gives you an idea of what the climate is like in Russia for the church today. Now there are other news from this summer also. For example, in July, the churches found out that they now have to install metal detectors in every church. And the church must, of course, pay for the metal detectors. The price of a metal detector is tens of thousands of dollars. Churches don't have the money to buy metal detectors. And it all is because of the fact that the government has said any church that has 50 members or more is a potential terrorist target. So what they are saying is two things. Number one, metal detectors. Number two, the church must hire a government security police, security agent, meaning in old language it was KGB, now it's FSB. An FSB agent must be present in every single worship service in a church that has 50 members or more. So what happens to churches if you have 100 members, 200 members, 500 members?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because you don't have the money. You don't have the money to pay the agents or the government for security. You don't have the money to buy the metal detectors. The churches, what they did was this. They called the church together. Let's say you have 400 members. They called the church together and they said, we need to separate from the church 350 members. We can only have 50. 50, and that means if we have 50 members, we don't have to fulfill the law. Yeah. We don't have to have the security agents from the FSB, from the secret police. We don't have to have the metal detectors. So as of today, 350 of our 400 members, you are gone. Basically, that's what they're saying. Of course, the church members who say that we are gone, they are saying, hey, this hurts us very deeply. Why should we be gone? And so now there's a very difficult situation in churches in Russia.
So, because we have done some programs, of course, about Russia during the springtime in May, June.
Yeah.
So what you're saying now is the situation has rapidly gone worse.
Yes, deteriorated, yeah.
And it's all about the terrorist laws.
Well, the problem...
What they call terrorist laws.
The problem is this. Just like in Soviet times, if you look at why Russian pastors were in prison, they were never in prison for Jesus. The government never said that. They always said the reason is this. They found different reasons, but never Jesus. But it was all the pastors that went to prison. And now, again, the government is not saying because you worship Jesus. The government is saying because you have all kinds of different reasons. And they are that's why they are making life very tough and very difficult for the church. It's not popular to say, I'm persecuting you because of Jesus. It's not popular.
So, Hanno, what you're telling us now and the whole Sweden is, you cannot read this in the Swedish newspaper, in the secular media, or almost not in the Christian newspaper.
We are planning to write articles in some of the bigger Christian newspapers in Sweden to tell the Swedish audience what is really happening in Russia. They need to read it and they need to see the pictures also.
So what you're saying now is, for me, if you talk a spiritual talk, this is a very special prophetic time, and things have changed rapidly.
Absolutely. Russia, as we have said in the past programs, Russia is closing down. It is making life, especially evangelism in the churches, almost impossible. That's what the new laws have done. So what we have been asked to do by the Russian churches have said, please help us now. We still have a small window of opportunity. We need to print as many New Testaments, Gospels of John, power to change books as possible. And so what we have done this past summer, and we are doing it now as we speak, we are using printing houses in Siberia to massively print literature for the churches on as long as we can. We think that window will close. We think that at some point the Russian printing houses will no longer take orders from us and they will no longer allow us to print. So right now we are printing 1 million copies of 500,000 of the Gospel of John, 500,000 of the Power to Change books. We have also already printed smaller printings for, let's say, 50,000 for the prisons in Russia and 20,000 for the Yakut people in East Siberia. They are largely unreached people. And we call them Eskimos in English. So they have received their own power to change books now. But we are over 1 million. As of September, we will have printed over 1 million. We have promised, if God will touch the hearts of people, another 1 million will be printed.
Yeah, I know.
And then another 500,000 New Testaments.
And I believe that the Swedish people and the Swedish mission family in our work, they have supported us, and I think they have a special feeling for Russia. Actually, they have. But Hanno, because you have been there so many times, you have so many serious contacts. You're well known in Russia. If you want to predict the future, what can you see in front of you, the scenario?
Well, it's really not what I feel, it's what I hear with my ears.
Okay.
When we were in Crimea in August, one of the leading pastors told me, we just talked to the Slavic Center for Religious Freedom. It's like Russian lawyers, Christian lawyers. They complained to the chief prosecutor's office, the chief, Office of Justice in Moscow. They complained saying, please, why are you persecuting the churches like this? Why are you making it so difficult? The answer from the Justice Department was this: do not complain. This is only the beginning. This fall, September, October, November, you will see what is still coming. Okay. That is a threat.
So there is some way, somehow, somewhere a hidden agenda, how they will take it even
For sure. They want to make it impossible to evangelize in Russia. But the churches have said, we have decided to follow Jesus. We have decided to follow Jesus.
They are ready to pay the high price.
Pay the price. Some churches maybe not, but there are many churches who have said so. That's why we are printing millions of copies of literature so they can use them, because they have decided that their fellow countrymen, their fellow citizens, need to know who Jesus is. Yeah. And they want to tell them.
Because this is for me and for Sweden very important information you have right now.
Yes.
Because that changed the whole thing, how to look at Russia and to stand together with our brothers and sisters in the churches.
Yeah, there's an urgency. The Swedish word for urgency is like we have to do it now. That's what it means. And without our Swedish brothers, we will be very weak. You can give us the power to help the church in Russia just in the way they have said they need it.
And we also are so thankful to God that we are still allowed to be in Russia. Yeah. Because we know that many others organizations during the 10 years have been forced to left.
Yes, they are,
leave the country.
There are very few. I'm not sure if there are any Christian organizations left. Very few. We do have an office in Moscow at this point in time, and we don't understand all the reasons for it. But I guess one of the reasons is that they have known us for 40 years. They know who we are.
I mean, 40 years is a generation in the Bible.
Yes, it is.
So I think God has given us a favor there. There is a narrow path, but it's a blessed a favor way for us to continue to do what to do as long as we can.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, Morgan, the spiritual truth to this is God is the one who has the final word. Yeah. There are no closed doors for God. Yes, governments will try to close doors, but God will always have an open door because He is the God of the universe, the God of mankind. Yeah. His Son, Jesus Christ, died on the cross for every single Russian. And God is more concerned in reaching all of Russia than we could ever be because of His Son Jesus and the price that He paid. We are just instruments. We are just servants doing what God has asked us to do. We don't create the miracles. God is the one who does the miracles. We are the servants who are willing and just gladly obey.
Yeah, because I used to say that during the persecutions we have in different kind of countries. Yeah. Yeah. The gospel is always, and people take it even further on. And in some way, when the persecution comes, the church will also do the real stuff. Yeah. And they come closer to Jesus. They are willing to pay the price.
Yes, that's exactly.
And give everything.
And that's exactly it. I mean, you can try to to make new laws. You can try to, you know, make the life for the church extremely difficult, but you can never keep the mouths of Christians shut.
No.
That is what God, you know, God has ordained, that there will always be people who will say, Jesus is alive and you need Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. Hannah, do we have an insert about Russia also we can look at right now, maybe?
Yeah, from Crimea. Yeah, from the youth camp, from the
Yeah.
youth festival, we have footage, so let's take a look.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this clip right now. Welcome back to the studio. We saw a clip from Crimea, this youth camp. A lot of young people loving Jesus Christ, worshiping Him.
Mm-hmm, yes.
And they saw this happen.
Yeah.
When the terrorists and laws.
And it was really a miracle. You know, I mean, just to be there, to sense the atmosphere, to be a part of the worship, to be a part of the, you know, the fellowship. I really enjoyed it. I mean, 2,000 young people, the best and the most powerful young people that you have in the country.
Yeah.
They want to bring healing to the nation.
When I hear that and see such a youth camp in that spiritual environment and also in Russia, I feel that so much of the youth in our Western world had to learn about to stand there and to praise Him and to stand up for Jesus in Russia, where they know that everything is, you know, happening so quickly against them.
Yeah, I mean, it almost seems as though in the Western world, our young people in our churches are almost like drugged under the influence of some kind of an unseen drug. Sleeping, we're sleepy. We're not using the opportunities that we have to reach our own people. And that's also a scheme or a strategy of the devil.
Yeah,
to make the church passive and sleepy.
Because for me, to see the young people, the next generation, the young generation in Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark, stand and worship Him, it's wonderful. Yeah. But to see it they do it in Russia, in these circumstances, it says something to my heart. Yeah. They are ready to pay the price. They are young. Yeah. They can decide to go another way, but they want and they are ready to pay the price and to keep on praising Him.
Absolutely. And when you, at the end of the day, when you think about what is it really all about, why is it like this in Russia? It's a question of your first love for Jesus. They have a first love for Jesus. When you lose your first love, you also lose your enthusiasm and your interest in sharing Jesus or just even witnessing.
That's a preaching. a message to the whole Scandinavia.
Yeah.
Because the churches are sleeping.
Yeah.
Not everywhere, but generally.
Generally, if you have lost, I like to say this, if there has ever been a point or a time in your life when you have been closer to Jesus, then you are backsliding.
Yeah.
If there has been a time in your life when you have been closer to Jesus, then the problem is you are probably backsliding.
Yeah. That's right.
It's so simple. I mean, that's why we need to be on fire. I mean, we have to have that first love for Jesus. Well, how do you have that first love for Jesus? I can tell you. It depends on what you let into your heart through your eyes and your ears.
Yeah.
Those are the two channels. God created you and me with eyes and ears because that's how He communicates.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the enemy is also the one that communicates through the same deal. He also uses your eyes and your ears.
Right.
If you're allowing the enemy to feed your heart, you'll never have a first love for Jesus.
No.
Your first love will disappear, it will go cold.
Yeah.
But if you allow God to come in through, your senses like He wants to, you will have a first life for Jesus you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. That's now we're talking. I feel it. Yeah. This is a crucial foundation of our Christian lives.
Yeah.
If you lost the first love, you lost everything.
Yeah, and that's what drives us. I mean, when you're close to Jesus, you are driven by the Holy Spirit. You're driven by the Holy Spirit to step out and do things for God. Yeah. Do God's wonderful works.
And what we do in Media Mission in Russia and other countries we're talking about in the coming program is just a tool because we are driven by His love to see people's lives change and receive Christ. That's the Great Commission.
Well, it is.
It's all about.
And as we speak today, I mean, look at what's happening around our world. You have these huge hurricanes, like the biggest hurricanes in history. We saw that just recently, Irma.
Yeah.
Total devastation everywhere. You have, all kinds of wars, either being fought or on the very edge of becoming wars. You have rumors of wars.
Yeah.
Everything like that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Jesus said, that's not really the big deal. No. I didn't tell you all of this because I wanted to scare you. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to tell you all of this only because you need to know that this is your moment.
Yeah.
This is your moment to bring the gospel, as I have said, as a witness to all nations. It shall be preached. The gospel of the kingdom shall be preached to all nations. This is your moment. You need to step up to the plate. You need to get involved. Make sure your love is burning for me. And let's go and let's do it together. This is your moment.
Yeah.
That's what He is saying. And all these signs are just telling you, now. It's now. Do it. Be involved. Let's do it together. And Jesus, He said, I will be with you until the end of the age.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah.
The time is running away, but ni som har lyssnat på vårt program, ni känner glöden och vi behöver er hjälp. This is not by our own purpose, it's about the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
We're going to see people's lives change. So help us to reach Russia. And vi har ett 90-konto som du hittar i vår tidning. Den ser ut så här, Mediemission. Och 90-kontot är 900307-0. Och vårt swishnummer är 12345 48822. Jag vill också berätta det, om inte du har upptäckt det redan, att vi har en helt ny hemsida. Mediemission.se, en helt ny hemsida, ny layout, ny grafik, väldigt fräsch. Sprid den, dela den på Instagram, på Twitter, på Facebook och sprid ut det vi gör. Vi behöver er hjälp.
It's true that, not everybody wants to go to places where we are going.
No.
There are many Swedes and many Finns and many Americans and everybody else. They don't want to go to Iraq. You don't want to go to, places like, Damascus or, Suleimania or Mosul. But we can go for you. Yeah. If you will help us and be part of our team, we can do it together. Yeah. You may not want to go, maybe you cannot go, but help us to go on your behalf.
Yes. And we will go to those countries. We have invitations. We'll talk about it more in the coming program.
Yes.
Så vi vill säga från djupet av vårt hjärta i Mediemission att vi älskar er, ni är med i vår missionsfamilj. Berätta gärna för era vänner om vårt arbete så det blir känt ännu mer i Sverige. Och vi tror att Gud vill beröra hela Skandinavien. Följ med oss i våra program varje fredagkväll 21:30, Tro och Under. And Hanno, thank you for being here in the studio. I love it.
Thank you, Morgan. And we really appreciate our Swedish friends. I mean, we are doing this together for Jesus.
Yeah. så vill vi önska dig det bästa vi kan och det Guds rika välsignelse. På återseende.